Hello everyone, I'm DaJuan Jackson. Today I'm here with author, educator, and motivational speaker, TK Coleman. TK Coleman, how are you doing today, mister?
Hey man, I'm good.
That's
good
nice,
to
that's
be
nice.
here.
My first question is, what brought you all the way from California to Rochester, New York at Edison High School?
Just me doing what I love. There's nothing that I love more than helping people explore the possibilities of life, helping people realize that they can do more than anything that anyone else expects of them. And I'm always challenging myself to think more like that, but I also love doing that for young people as well, because that's something that I was blessed to have in my life, and it's my way of giving back.
Makes sense. What drove you to become a motivational speaker, author, and educator?
So it's interesting, like, motivational speaker is never a title I've given myself, but I don't resist it when other people call me that.
Right.
I'm just a person who shows up and does his work. It just so happens that every job I've had, I've always been the person put in a position of having to explain things or teach things. So when I was working at a restaurant, if somebody new joined in and they needed to have the policies explained to them, it would always fall on me. TK, you be the one to explain it to them, right? When I started my first startup, nobody knew about what we were doing. We couldn't afford to pay for advertising or buy commercials and things like that. And so I had to get out there and tell people about the product and talk about what it can do. And so going out there and speaking just was done out of necessity, but in the process of doing it, I was having an impact and I was also enjoying it. And so I just continued to do it. And some people felt motivated when I spoke. And they said, hey, you're a motivating speaker. And I said, all right, cool. I won't run from that label. At the end of the day, regardless of what anybody calls me, my life is about the impact that I want to have. I just want to help people believe in themselves more. I want to help people unpack the baggage that weighs them down and holds them back from being the best possible version of themselves. And whatever I can say to them to help them get there, I don't really care if it's motivating or not. I just care if it's liberating.
As a kid, is this like what you wanted to do?
No, and it's funny because I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor, and there was this lady at my dad's church who used to always tell me when I was a kid, you're gonna be a teacher. And I used to get mad at her every time, because I'm a kid and I want to be a basketball player and all these other types of things. And being a teacher sounded so boring. But I think what she saw in me was this curiosity. I always had a passion for learning. And whenever I struggle with something, I just always assume that the reason I'm struggling is because there's something that I don't know. There's something that I haven't been taught. And if I can find out what that is, it'll help me navigate this struggle more effectively. And I never saw myself as being an educator, but I just loved ideas. I loved learning, and I loved the way that learning contributed to my own personal freedom and enjoyment. And there just comes a point where when you start to learn things that really help you, you get excited about sharing with other people. It's just like when you see a movie you really like, you don't want to be a movie advertiser, but when you see a good movie, it's kind of hard to shut up about it, right? You tell your friends, oh man, you got to check that out. That's just what it's like when you discover an idea that sets you free in some kind of way.
Right. I know earlier when you were talking, you said you've been doing this for like a long time.
Yeah.
How long exactly have you been doing this?
Oh man, so I would say about 25 years. So a real long time, yeah. So I've taught at the graduate level in college. I've taught children's improv. I have taught continuing education for adults. I've taught accounting. I've taught finance. I've taught philosophy. I've been teaching for almost as long as I've been learning in some sense, right? But I would say formally, professionally, it's probably been about 25 years.
In those 25 years, what other hurdles you had to overcome and get through?
Yeah, so I think about the words of John Maxwell, who said, get over yourself. Everyone else has. When you're a teacher, you got to get over yourself because there is nobody who is so awesome, nobody who is so smart that you're going to walk into a room and reach everybody to the same degree on that day. There are always going to be people that might not connect with what you have to say. And it may not be forever. Maybe they just don't connect that day, or maybe they don't fully connect. And as a teacher, you have to be willing to give people the space to learn what they're ready to learn and not get angry at them for that, not get frustrated with them for that. And I think that was hard for me in the beginning because I had to develop a sense of trust in other people's learning process and not feel the need to control that.
Right. What is your biggest message you want to get out to your audience?
Biggest message, a Howard Thurman quote where he says, "Ask not yourself what the world needs, but rather what makes you come alive. For that is what the world needs, people who have come alive." I think young people struggle a lot with figuring out, hey, what do I want to do with my life? And they usually focus on external things. What's going to make me the most money? What has the most job security? What do other people expect of me? What am I good at? All these different types of things. And I think the best thing that you can do is bet on yourself by trusting in your curiosity. I believe that your curiosity is a compass that guides you to the things that you are uniquely optimized to succeed in. And when you focus on that, you become not just hireable, you become indispensable. You become not just the kind of people the kind of person that people get glad when they see you walking through the door, but they feel sad when you leave, right? Because you create so much value when you're there.
Do you feel like your messages reach your audience?
Say that again.
Do you feel like your messages have reached your audience over the years?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't worry too much about who that is. I don't get attached. So I think in order to have influence, you have to give up your attachments about who you're going to influence. There are always surprises. The people that you want to like your message, they might be completely bored with it. And it might be somebody over there you weren't even focused on who are like, man, everything you said resonated with me, right? And a lot of times people who have dreams, they get frustrated because they think about their family and their friends and they want those people to be their biggest fans. But your biggest fans, your biggest students, the people you influence the most, might be people that you never thought of, that you never met. And so you've got to do what you do with a sense of conviction that this is what I'm here to do. It's going to have the impact that it needs to have. And it's just my job to show up and do it with passion and not worry too much about which group of people gravitate to my message the most. The right people will get it.
Adding on to that, why do you think it's important to talk to our youth? Like kids my age, maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, around that.
Yeah, because I think when you're young, it's very easy to feel powerless because you're at an age and stage where a lot of people get to have a say over your life. I would say at your age, most people, like in high school, most of their day is determined by the demands that other people make on them. And so they spend most of their lives being obedient and trying to pick and choose when they can get away with rebelling, right? And that sense of powerless isn't a very healthy feeling to abide in. And what I want to help young people develop is a sense of agency, a sense of creative power that can be expressed and demonstrated in any kind of situation. I want to help them understand that leadership isn't about a title. It's about taking your ideas and knowing how to make those ideas happen, even when you're in an environment where other people aren't giving you permission. In economics, we call that permissionless innovation. That's the thing that entrepreneurs, artists, and creators understand. They understand how to exercise influence, how to get things done, even when they're not the most respected person in the room. Because in the words of Steve Martin, they know how to be so good that they can't be ignored.
I like that. Adding on to the 25 years you've been doing this and the hurdles you have to overcome, what do you feel like your biggest accomplishment is?
Oh man, so this is tough. I'm gonna come way out of left field on this. My biggest accomplishment is speaking at my best friend's funeral, doing his eulogy. I lost a childhood friend of mine a few years ago, and his parents asked me to speak at his eulogy. And what was really significant about that is that young man, my best friend, he's the guy who taught me how to write. He's the first person I ever met who taught me about the power of words and the way that words can influence people. And so to lose him was tragic, but to be able to have the last words over his life and to be able to speak to everyone who was there about what his life meant for us and what it meant for me, it was the best way I could give back to him and show respect for him. And so for me personally, I don't think there's anything that I'll ever do that'll be as important to me as that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Do you have any dreams you have like yet to accomplish? Anything like you looking forward to?
Not only do I have dreams that I've yet to accomplish, but I believe that everybody should have those dreams because as you pursue dreams, you evolve as a person. The things you have to do in order to go after what you want are things that change you. They lead you to new experiences, to new relationships. And so it's important that you not only follow your dreams, but that you upgrade your dreams to keep up with the person that you're in the process of becoming. If you don't have new dreams, that means you're growing stale. That means that you're stuck in the past, right? So I absolutely do have dreams that I haven't fulfilled yet. I would say some of those dreams, in film production, there are still stories that I want to tell. And we're currently working on a documentary that we want to pitch as a series to Netflix. Getting something like that to happen and more projects like that, that's definitely a dream. I plan on starting next month working on a book about dreams. I gave a speech called Dreams Don't Come True, Decisions Do. And so I want to take those ideas and really unpack them and write them in a book. So those are 2 dreams for now. I'll focus on those, and then when I knock them out, maybe we can talk about the next ones up.
Do you have any financial advice to give to like our young students here?
Yeah, so I'll give you 2 things. Number 1, money isn't about getting someone to give you something. It's about learning how to create value. Wealth is a reward for solving problems for people. And so if you really want to be wealthy, you're not going to get there by obsessing over the numbers. The way that you get there is by making yourself a student of people and figuring out ways that you can make their lives easier. It's like the old saying goes, the best way to get what you want is to help enough people get what they want. And I think a lot of people, they focus on the nuts and bolts, like coming up with a business plan or coming up with a money-making scheme. And it's not about that. The best ideas hardly ever win. What wins are people who understand human beings and who know how to help them meet their needs. The second thing I would say about money is, at this age, it can be hard to focus on it. The older you get, the more vulnerable you feel, and the more you start to care about money. When you're younger, usually someone else is answering the hardest questions about money for you. You know, when you're in high school, you're probably not the main person that's paying all of your bills, and it's easy not to care and feel like you're gonna live forever. But I would say focus on doing things that can contribute to your financial freedom early on, because money ain't about the money. Money is about your autonomy. And every young person that I met, when I walk into these classrooms, I see people that are just sitting there like, I don't want to be there. And when I see that, I say, hey, I endorse that. I like the fact that you don't want to be here, but I don't want you to feel like this when you're 40. Right. And there's a strong chance you will feel like that when you're 40 if you don't get on your game. So let's talk about economic literacy now, so that 20 years from now, you're not sitting in a room that somebody else told you to be in, listening to somebody you don't want to listen to, because you've taken care of your business, and now you have the financial freedom to choose where you want to be and what you want to do. Start caring now. Because, by the way, this is as easy as it's going to get. You might think your life is hard now, and if you think it's hard, I agree with you. It's as hard as you think it is. But this is as easy as it's going to be, because the older you get, you're going to have more external obligations, more responsibilities, and the world isn't going to feel sorry for you at all. Right now, you struggle, somebody will be like, okay, I'll help you out. When you're 30, you're 40, no one's going to care. They're going to say, step up. I don't care how you feel. Step up and do the thing. So now's the time to take risk. Now's the time to learn, to apply yourself, to hit up the people in your life for wisdom, because it's never going to get easier than it is now, even if it's very hard.
Makes a lot of sense. I really like that. All right, well, I just want to thank you for coming out all the way from California to here, Rochester, New York. And thank y'all for watching too.